Hi, it's Katrina. Dogs might be man's best friend, but horses aren't far behind. They've been our companions for thousands of years. From war horses to new ones that have just been discovered, here are some of the most unique horses in the world. Frian horses. The Frian horse is a truly glorious creature to behold. Originally from an island off the coast of the Netherlands, they may have been around since 1000 BC. In the Middle Ages, they were used by both German and French knights who fought in the Crusades. They were coveted by rich noblemen and were often used as heavy cavalry. Because of their strength and courage, they were often used in battle since they could carry knights and soldiers in full suits of armor, and they were heavy. Out of all the medieval horses in Europe, only the Frisians could carry the mightiest knights on their backs. After coming into contact with Eastern horses, their color lightened, and they had better range of movement and improved stamina. In the early 20th century, though, Frisians came close to going extinct, with only 3 stallions living in Friesland in 1913. After fuel shortages during World War II, farmers needed to use horses to tend to their fields, so a new breeding program was started. Now, Friesian horses are very popular as dressage horses. That's primarily due to their incredible strength and gentle temperament. Many of these horses have even been movie stars over the years. In 1985, the stallion Othello appeared in the film Lady Hawk. Other Friesian horses have been in movies like Aragon and 300. Friesians are versatile and are known for being proud, strong, loyal, and cheerful. They get along very well with people and may form a strong bond with their owners. Who wouldn't want one? The Akal. The Akal is one of the oldest surviving breeds in the world. Its history goes back 3,000 years to the ancient warlords of Turkmenistan. The few remaining horses are so gorgeous, they look like they come straight out of a dream. Slender, lean, and the very color of the shifting desert sands. The exact origins of these near-mythical horses are shrouded in mystery. They were first used, according to the few records available, by the Tekemene culture living between the modern borders of Iran and Afghanistan. The oldest physical remains have reportedly been discovered in the south of Turkmenistan. Their bones were dated at 3,400 years old. Although their history is ancient, the modern form of the Akal horse has only been around for about 1,200 years. They aren't exact copies of the horses used by the nomadic tribes. Instead, they are the purest living descendants. They have extreme endurance, as this was hugely important for ancient nomads. Horses had to be able to travel massive distances while maintaining stamina. In 1935, a group of Turkmene horse riders took a mounted group of stallions on a journey of 2,500 miles from Ashgabat to Moscow in 84 days. It was part of an effort to show the world how majestic their horses are. They managed to cross the 225-mile Karakum Desert in only 3 days. There are an estimated 7,000 Akal horses alive today. They are some of the most sought-after animals in the world. It's shout-out time! I want to give a big thank you to Freed Mr. Chow and Storm Prince for supporting this channel. Thank you so much! We're grateful for you guys too. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already to join the family. Appaloosa. The Appaloosa horse has a prominent place in American history. These incredibly fast creatures are believed to have descended from wild mustangs in North America. The few that still live today likely came from the Nez Perce Indian Territory, though sadly the history of these beautiful animals is steeped in violence and blood. In the late 1800s, the American army set their muzzles on the Nez Perce people. It was a brutal war that resulted in the Native Americans and their trusted steeds being systematically slaughtered. You may have heard the name Chief Joseph before. He was the famous leader of the Nez Perce who surrendered to the United States in 1877. Unfortunately, by the time they admitted defeat, almost the entire line of Appaloosa horses had been wiped out. Since then, only a small handful of breeders in North America have dedicated themselves to keeping the line alive. One of those breeders was Jerry Messer. He spent most of his life preserving the genetic line of the Appaloosa horses, which can be dated directly to the Nez Perce of the Pacific Northwest. The horses are extremely intelligent and majestic beyond measure. They are most famous for their leopard-type spots. Many of these horses feature complex spotted patterns of black and white. In 2007, Jerry Messer was dying of cancer. Desperate to pass the torch along to the next breeder, he gave his prized herd of rare Appaloosas to a Canadian couple named Bill and Joanne Greenwood. The Greenwoods purchased a farm in rural Saskatoon, even constructing a state-of-the-art birthing barn. They are now dedicated to keeping the line as pure as possible and ensuring the longevity of the Appaloosa horse. It's people like the Greenwoods who prevent these ancient breeds from going completely extinct. Cyan horses. There is no name for the breed of horses that took the Scythian warlords on conquests across Central Asia. In truth, very little is known about their horses, but that might just be changing. In a breakthrough study, scientists think they've discovered the breeding secrets of the legendary Scythians. The Scythians were the greatest horseback riders of Central Asia during the Iron Age. They roamed the vast expanse of the Kazakh steppes, moving freely in a time before borders. From the 9th century BC until about the time of Christ's birth, they were the indisputable horse lords of the world. The Scythians are also believed to have been the inspiration for the Greek myth of the Amazonian warriors. That's because the Scythians didn't discriminate based on sex. Women and men could get on the backs of their horses and fling arrows at their enemies. If you go far enough back, the inspiration for the comic book character Wonder Woman came from the Scythian lady warriors. Because the Scythians were nomadic, understanding their culture has proven difficult for archaeologists. Without cities to study, researchers can only investigate random burials and tombs found in the middle of nowhere. Still, they've been able to piece together a pretty good idea of these people. The Scythians were likely the first ones to master composite bows while riding a horse. They also may have been the first real horse breeders of the ancient world. Professor Ludovic Orlando headed a research group of experts from 16 universities. They studied archaeological remains of over a dozen horses discovered in royal Scythian burials. Some of the horses came from the site of Arzan, where 200 horses were discovered buried among the Scythian elites. The horses lived between 2,300 and 2,700 years ago. Let's get down to the results of the study. By looking at the genomes of the horses, scientists were able to understand the breeding strategies of the Scythians. They maintained natural herd structures rather than focusing on a single stallion to father hundreds of offspring. They focused on horses that were fast and had great endurance. Overall, they had a more natural approach to breeding, ensuring their horses weren't inbred. The study shows just how masterful the Scythians were with their animals. The Caspian Horse. The Scythians were not the only ancient people who bred horses. Persian art from 5,000 years ago shows the ancient people of Iran also had a fascination with horses. The extremely rare breed of Caspian Horse has its origins dating back to a legendary king who lived around 3000 BC. King Darius the Great is depicted on ancient artifacts riding a horse so small that his feet are nearly brushing against the ground. There is a great frieze at the Palace of Persepolis that shows a group of small horses pulling chariots. All the evidence points to the Persians having a stable of really tiny horses. For years, it was assumed whatever horses the Persians bred had gone extinct thousands of years ago. But when scientists started poking through the genetic material of Caspian horses, they made a fantastic discovery. The Caspian breed is a close living descendant of ancient horses from the height of the Persian Empire. How the Caspian horse even exists today is a captivating story. In 1957, Iranian aristocrat Narsi Firuz moved to Iran with his American wife Louise. In the capital of Tehran, they started teaching the art of horsemanship. One of the biggest issues they faced was that there weren't enough small mounts to teach the children with. But the aristocratic couple had heard interesting rumors about tiny horses that lived in remote villages near the Caspian Sea. In 1965, the couple went on an epic expedition into the Iranian countryside. There, they found distinctive horses unlike anything they'd seen before. They named the breed Caspian after the sea, then took the horses home to breed them. By 1994, Caspian horses had arrived in the United States. It was thanks to the Iranian couple that the ancient horses are now bred throughout the world. Without them, the ancient Persian horses may have faded into obscurity. Big Jake. The tallest horse that ever lived was a Shire horse who went by the name of Samson. He stood a whopping 7 feet 2.5 inches, or 21 hands in horse measurement. He also weighed an astounding 3,359 pounds. The mammoth horse earned his unshakable title in 1850. It was nearly, though not quite, beaten by Big Jake. Big Jake came to fame in 2010 when he weighed in at an incredible 2,599 pounds. That's about the same weight as a small car. He was a Belgian draft horse who measured at 6 feet 11 inches, or 20 hands. He maintained his title as the biggest living horse until his death in June 2021. But Big Jake lived an excellent life. He was 20 years old when he died. Big Jake was one of the rarest horses that ever lived, yet he came from simple beginnings. There was nothing particularly interesting about his mother or father. They were ordinary Belgian horses, neither of them very large. Big Jake just so happened to hit a growth spurt that never ended. The young horse was purchased by a man named Jerry Gilbert, who recognized the potential of Big Jake as a foal. Jake was taken to Smoky Hollow Farm in Wisconsin, where he enjoyed a pretty cushiony existence. He ate 3 buckets of grain and an entire bale of hay every day. He lived in a luxury stall about twice the size of the normal horses. He was so big that he had to be transported in a semi-trailer when he went to shows. Jake retired in 2013 and spent the rest of his privileged life making appearances at the Wisconsin State Fair. Being the biggest horse in the world gave Jake a life that some humans might be envious of. After all, who wouldn't love living in a luxury barn with 3 whole buckets of grain a day? After Jake's death in 2021, his stall was left empty as a memorial. The American Cream Horse. There is only a single breed of draft horse that has ever been developed in the United States. The breed is still rare to this day. It's called the American Cream Draft. The story of these majestic horses takes us back to a farm sale in Iowa in 1911. There was a horse at this farm by the name of Old Granny. She had been born somewhere around 1890 to unknown parents. She had a peasant's ancestry with nobody important in her family. But for some bizarre reason, Old Granny continuously produced offspring with a beautiful cream color. Several Iowa breeders learned of the unusual phenomenon. They became interested in Old Granny, and especially in her great-great-grandson. Through Old Granny's blood had come a stallion named Silver Lace. He was a gorgeous cream-colored horse who weighed 2,200 pounds. Old Granny's female offspring were purchased by Clarence T. Ryerson in the 1930s. He was the one who started recording the pedigrees of each horse. He founded the American Cream Draft Horse Association, which got chartered in 1944. From the time Old Granny was discovered to the time that her offspring became an entirely unique breed, hardly 4 decades had passed. By Ryerson's death in 1957, his association had registered 200 horses across 7 states. Thus was born the first American breed of draft horse. The story of the cream-colored horses turned sour from here. Just as the breed was getting established, the market for draft horses plummeted. This was entirely because of the mechanization revolution. Horses weren't needed for agriculture anymore. Workhorses across America were being sent to the slaughterhouse in droves. People didn't care about breeds, they only cared about what made them money. The American Cream Horse Association went inactive for 14 years. Because of the devastation in the middle of the 20th century, the breed began slipping into obscurity. It was only in 1982 that the association was reorganized. Breeders worked closely with scientists at the University of Kentucky to lock down the genetic parameters of the cream draft. There's recently been a revival, and the cream horses are still around, albeit extremely rare. Have you ever seen one? Let me know in the comments below. Horses of prehistory. It's the moment you've been waiting for. I'm going to take you through the entire evolution of horses starting 55 million years ago. Well, not quite, but you know what I mean. 10 million years ago on the Great Plains of North America, there were about a dozen species of horses. They were relatives of the modern horse, grazing in open grasslands and dwelling in dark forests. Out of all of the ancient horses that lived, they have all gone extinct, except modern equines. The ancient horses of the plains came from the original horse ancestor 55 million years ago. Scientists have traced the earliest horse to a creature called Hyracotherium. Although it was likely the first member of the horse family, it was only about the size of a dog. Hyracotherium ambled through the forests of North America until about 20 million years ago. That was when evolution suddenly spiked. The climate changed dramatically, expanding the grassland. The horses that were only as big as your dog suddenly became giants. There was a brief period of time when horses of all sizes lived next to one another. I say brief, but it was only brief in the sense that the universe is vast. Up until around 3 million years ago, horses the size of monsters lived alongside horses only as big as oversized cats. The evolution tapered off with the Equus genus, of which modern horses belong. Thanks for watching! Be sure to stay tuned for extra content you might have missed.
Appaloosa Horse. A gentle, friendly breed, the Appaloosa is a spotted horse whose roots go back to the early 1600s. Spanish explorers introduced them to North America and the Nez Perce people, who bred them to create a colorful and intelligent companion. But at one time, this beautiful breed was at risk of being completely lost. In the late 1870s, the U.S. government attempted to take over Native American land. As tribe members fled on their horses, many of them were either lost, stolen, or killed. Interest in the breed was revived in the 1930s, and the few surviving Appaloosas created a new foundation for the breed. Originally bred for transport, hunting, and battle, they are a very versatile horse that today are used in long-distance trial riding, working cattle and rodeo events, and some are even used for racing. There are a wide variety of colors and markings in the breed, ranging from various shades of brown, black, gray, and even white and red, but it is the mottled white and dark patches of pigmentation that are truly where the Appaloosa shines. Sometimes, only the horse's haunches are speckled, while other varieties have dark leopard-type spots. Another has a darker body with white spots or flecks like snowflakes, while a fourth has a white and dark marbled hair. If you thought only their coat was something to be admired, the Appaloosa also has a unique style of hooves, which are vertically striped in alternating dark and light patterns. If you ever have the chance to get up close and personal with an Appaloosa, you might also want to take a look at their eyes. The sclera, or the white part of the eye around the iris, is visible, something that is not seen in other horses. A gentle, loyal breed with unique colors and markings, the Appaloosa is one that has earned its reputation for being one of the most beautiful horses in the world, inside and out. The Friesian. One of the oldest breeds of horses in Europe, the Friesian, whose nickname is also the Black Pearl, is a stunning animal. Originally from an island off the coast of the Netherlands, they may have been around since 1000 BC, used by both German and Frisian knights who fought in the Crusades. After coming into contact with Eastern horses, their color lightened and they had better range of movement and improved stamina. In the early 20th century, though, Frisians came close to going extinct, with only 3 stallions living in Friesland in 1913. After fuel shortages during World War II, farmers needed to use horses to tend to their fields, so a new breeding program was started. A smart, gentle horse, Friesians are versatile and are known for being proud, strong, loyal, and cheerful. They get along very well with people and they form a strong bond with their owners. Friesians are renowned for their long, flowing manes and tails, which are usually kept long to showcase their sleek beauty, and a thick black coat. They do not usually have any markings, but some do showcase a small star on their forehead. They range from black bay to deep dark brown to true black with silky feathering on their legs. Pretty impressive, right? German Forest Horse. Also known as the Black Forest Draft Horse, this horse is a small but very tough draft breed known for their beauty and long lifespan. Even though they are tough, this breed is almost extinct. They are about 600 years old, and for most of the time, this breed was used almost exclusively for forestry work because of their immense strength, patience, and gentle temperament. They have a dark chestnut coat with a flaxen mane and tail, their short head has small ears and large eyes, and their chest is broad with legs that are trim and strong with a little feathering. The most common color for them is dark chestnut, but they can also be gray or bay. They began to decline during the 20th century when their jobs were taken by machines. Back in 1981, only 160 registered broodmares were reported. Since then, the government stepped in to help protect the Black Forest horse breed, and only the finest stock was used, so now they boast that those that remain are of the best quality. Today, a major breeding center is located at Marbach, where only 16 from a total of 46 state-approved stallions are located. The rest are scattered in different private breeding facilities around the world. Gypsy Vanner. Originally bred in England, the Gypsy horse gets its name from being able to easily pull caravans, or vanners, get it, and is said to be popular among the Romani people. Also known as the Irish cob, it was not even officially recognized as a breed until the 1990s. On a trip to England in 1995, Dennis and Cindy Thompson were fascinated by a colorful stallion they saw at a farm. The horse had black and white markings and very furry legs. They met the owner, a gypsy named Fred Walker, who was known as the king of the colored horses. He sold the stallion to the Thompsons, and they all decided on the name with the blessings of the dedicated British gypsy breeders. On November 24, 1996, the couple made the world's first registry for this breed under the name Gypsy Vanner Horse. The Gypsy Vanner is known for being docile, quiet, and patient. They also learn quickly and are willing to be trained, showing off their intelligence and providing a comfortable ride for people of all experience levels. The Gypsy horse has abundant feathering on their legs that starts around the knees and extends over their hooves. They also have a thick mane and tail, and some varieties even have blue eyes that are unique to their breed. They can range in color from black, white, buckskin, or bay to practically everything in between. There are also a few different dilutions where the mane and tail of the horse is lighter compared to its body color. Aren't they pretty? In Gypsy horses, there is the silver dapple, which has a black coat with flaxen mane and tail and dapples or rings of lighter colored hair. The cremello variation is cream colored with a white mane and tail, pink skin, and blue or glass eyes or cream colored. The Gypsy horse can also have different patterns in its coat, like splash, which are literally splashes of color, spotted varieties, and even one called badger face, displaying a marking like a badger on its face, which is a different color than its pelt. With so many different varieties and colors, it makes it easy to see why the Gypsy horse is not only a popular one, but one of the most striking breeds in the horse world. Andalusian. A pure Spanish horse that originated in the Iberian Peninsula, the Andalusian was first recognized as a breed in the 15th century. They were bred for their agility and were best used in hand-to-hand combat as war horses. But their history goes way back, with images of them turning up in cave paintings in the Andalusia region in southern Spain. They were so revered that they were stolen by Napoleon's army and made their way through Europe, exported from Spain in the 1960s. Most Andalusians are gray, born a darker shade, and then get lighter in color as they age. Over 80% of registered horses are some form of silver, black, gray, or white. There are bay horses and even some chestnut and golden palominos. The mane of the Andalusian is definitely its most characteristic trait. Long and flowing, the forelock often sweeps over the horse's face and can be straight or even wavy or curly. Their coat is short and has a deep sheen, and their tail is often long enough to touch the ground. Andalusians also have very flexible joints, which makes them a popular pick for dressage, making elaborate laps and kicks that make them look like they're dancing. A major part in the history of Spain, the Andalusian is another stunning example of horse breed. Akal. If you've never heard of the Akal horse, it's probably because they are extremely rare. A horse with a coat so shiny they look almost metallic when the sun hits them right. The Akal breed is believed to be at least 3,000 years old and bred for their speed, beauty, size, and strength. Most think the thoroughbred is the base of most breeds, but evidence suggests one of the founding stallions of the thoroughbred breed was an Akal. Originating from Turkmenistan, food and water were scarce, meaning the Akal have naturally developed to survive in harsh conditions, making them able to endure without water for long stretches. It is the national emblem of the country, and the horse is known worldwide for its speed, endurance, intelligence, and of course, its beauty. They are most known for their silky coat, which has a high gloss and gives them their characteristic metallic sheen, no matter what their base color is. It is believed they were originally tethered outside and covered in felt, which is how their short, glistening coat developed. They can range from black, bay, and chestnut to dappled gray that eventually turns white. They usually have sparse manes and tails, and it's not uncommon to find many blue-eyed horses in the bunch. Thousands of years in desert conditions have also given the Akal other unique features. Their eyes are almond-shaped and hooded, their ears tall and slim, and their nostrils are curved outward, all of which allows the breed to run fast, even through sandstorms. The perfect combination of graceful and athletic, the Akal is an exotic breed that, although sometimes excitable, are a loyal horse that bonds well with its owner. Halflinger. Also known by the name Avalonese, the Halflinger horse is descended from an Arabian stallion and a mountain pony from Austria and northern Italy. In fact, all Halflinger ponies can trace their lineage back to one stallion that was born in 1874. They are a strong and hardy horse with a friendly nature, used by farmers as pack horses and to pull and transport goods. Until 1945, they were mostly found in the Central Alps region, but are now bred in more than 60 countries for their intelligent and sensible temperament. They are considered a light horse breed and usually weigh under 1,500 pounds. Now mostly used for leisure and trail riding, they are also popular on the racetrack, used as show horses and ranching. The relatively small gene pool of the Halflinger means all horses in the breed have a very specific look. They are always either chestnut or reddish copper, with long, pale or flaxen manes and tails and muscular hindquarters. They have a lean, elegant head and are known for their expressive eyes. Their gait is clear and rhythmic, which makes them a popular choice for dressage, jumping, and vaulting. They are a smaller breed, but they are true horses, not ponies. They also get along so well with their owners that they are sometimes kept in the lower levels of their houses to take advantage of their body heat. Even though that might seem odd to those of us who are city dwellers, the Halflinger is a personable and affectionate horse, one that is lovingly known as the Golden Horse with the Golden Heart. Rocky Mountain Horse. Originating in the United States in the late 1800s, the Rocky Mountain horse breed comes from the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains in eastern Kentucky. They were used for everything from working the fields and herding cattle to carrying postmen and doctors. Unlike other horses that were owned by wealthy people, these horses were mostly owned by those who were less wealthy and could not afford to spend a lot of money keeping them groomed. Because of this, the breed needed to not only fend for itself sometimes when it came to food, often eating the bark off trees, but they also had to live in harsh conditions, which ended up making them the hardy breed that they are today. There is still a lot of mystery surrounding the beginnings of the breed, because back then, not much, if any, documentation of breeds was kept. But most believe the Rocky Mountain Horse, named for the area of the country the original colt was brought from, started from one horse that was known for performing smooth rides. Their trademark color is chocolate with a flaxen mane and tail, which is a rare silver dappling gene in their dark coat. The gene causes the mane and tail to be extremely lighter than the horse's coat and can also be found in a variety of breeds, not just the Rocky Mountain Horse. Their hard-working attitude, beauty, and friendliness makes the Rocky Mountain Horse one that is not only well-rounded, but also a great companion. Icelandic Horse. It might surprise you to know that in Iceland, a country with a population of only 300,000, there are 80,000 horses. Used for companionship and leisure riding, the Icelandic horse plays a huge part in the country's history. Curious and intelligent, this breed first arrived in Iceland aboard Viking ships of the Norse settlers somewhere between 860 and 935 AD. In fact, Icelandic Parliament passed a law in 982 AD that forbid any other breed of horse to be imported into the country, keeping the breed in complete isolation on the island. With a short, sturdy stature, they were easy to transport on ships, and after arriving, the breed adapted to their new surroundings, developing a thicker coat in the winter and shedding it come springtime. This breed also has a very unique style of walking. While most horses have 3 general gaits, including walking, trotting, and canter or galloping, the Icelandic horse has 2 other gaits, known as tolt, a 4-beat trot that allows the horse to glide forward, and the skate, a rhythmic gallop or what is known as flying pace. If you thought you were going to get your basic brown, black, or gray Icelandic horses, think again. There are over 40 basic colorings in the breed and over 100 variations. Icelandic people also believe the color of the horse can reflect the animal's personality. So revered by its people, the Icelandic horse can also be found in literature and folklore, with some Vikings even being buried with their horse to help them in their journey to the next world. Other Norse mythology tells stories of the god Odin, who had an 8-legged horse that was able to fly. Another motif involves 2 horses of deities Dagur, or day, and Not, or night, pulling the sun across the sky and bringing light and fertility to the people. Another piece of Icelandic folklore describes a water demon called Naikur with the appearance of a horse who lived in lakes and rivers and lured unsuspecting wanderers to their deaths. As you can see, the horse not only plays an important part in the history of Iceland, but it has also found eternal celebration in legend and myth of the Icelandic people. Thanks for watching! Which horse was your favorite? Let me know in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. See you next time! Bye!